all this stuff. Okay. Wow.
Wow, what a day, huh?
The following program does not necessarily represent the views and opinions of Reality Radio 101, its advertisers and sponsors, or its listening audience. Listener discretion is advised. Good afternoon and welcome to the Liquid Green Health Show with your hosts Fred and Janet Cox right here on Reality Radio 101. To get on board right now, send us an email. Our email address is liquidgreenhealthshow@gmail.com. And now, ladies and gentlemen, right to your hosts of the Liquid Green Health Show, Fred and Janet Cox.
And well, welcome. It's another Sunday afternoon. What a glitch. It must be raining technology. Rain is coming down on us this afternoon. But folks, we are here and I'm happy that you're here with us. This is Sunday, the 18th day of September. And a warm welcome to all of our listeners in Toronto, across Canada, the United States, Congo, Fiji, Iceland, Israel, Lima, Norway, Russia, Jamaica, Canada,
and Guyana, right?
Guyana, Trinidad and Tobago, and many other countries around the world. Thank you for allowing us into your private space. Welcome to the Liquid Green Health Show.
As a matter of fact, Frederick, with a glitch, I have to mention, I don't know how many people believe in retrograde.
Oh, yeah.
Mercury is in retrograde.
I forgot. Right. And that's
So we're going to chalk it up to that because there's no other earthly explanation.
Blame it on Mercury today. Today's show is sponsored by Liquid Green Products, producers of Eco Superior Green cleaning products for your home, office, car, and pets. And like I always say, if you're not using Liquid Green Eco Superior Green products, then what in the world are you using to clean your home? Visit us at liquidgreenproducts.com. Click on any product you would like to try. And at checkout, enter RR101. That's RR101 to get a huge discount. Fill in where you'd like your order to be shipped, and it would be rushed to you from our warehouse to your house. This is a live broadcast, folks, but all previous broadcasts can be found on the following platforms: Spotify, just type in Liquid Green Health Show. On Facebook, it's Liquid Green Products Inc. YouTube, just type in Liquid Green Health Show. Like, share, comment, subscribe, get the name out there. We'd love to hear from you.
As a matter of fact, we had, Gary sent us our stats, and we had close to 100 new listeners on our show last week.
Things
so
are going.
Everybody knows your private business, because last week we talked relationships.
Oh man, we let it all out, man. We let it out. All right.
And so a lot of people know exactly how you operate at home, right?
Okay. During this broadcast, folks, please feel free to write us at liquidgreenhealthshow@gmail.com. That's liquidgreenhealthshow@gmail.com. We'd like to know where you're listening from, and send in those comments. We love to read them on air for you. Today's broadcast, like all our broadcasts, is for education and entertainment purposes only, designed to stimulate the mind and help bring us one step closer to living a healthier lifestyle. We have a fantastic topic and a wonderful guest on our show today. And today's topic is, we're going to be talking about the kidney failure, also known as CKD, chronic kidney disease. And it's very important. This is a very, very important subject that we are going to be discussing today. As a matter of fact, it can be one of the most devastating news you can receive from your health practitioner. And once diagnosed, it is imperative to be well informed about your options. You must learn to make the right choice for your health, your lifestyle, and your personal circumstances, and arrange the best options for your treatment.
And of course, just before I introduce our guest, Arlene Wallace, I want to give a special shout out to Mike and Gary, our producers. You guys, you're the rock. You keep us grounded because we know we have been talking about health since January, and nothing kills more than stress.
Yep.
And I like the way you guys do not stress.
They kept us calm today.
Keeping us calm, even if
Thank you. You're
I
too
have
sweet,
to-
Janet.
Yeah, thank you very much, guys.
You're in panic mode today, you know.
And of course, you know who I'm going to blame. I'm going to raise his stress level,
Yeah.
right? Because he's the home technician.
Watch out
So-
for more gray hairs, folks.
Yeah. Well, just remember, we're not actually launching nuclear weapons, so it's pretty
You don't have to
tame.
press
It's-
the red button.
no, it's
right?
pretty tame. We'll figure things out.
It was touchy
Okay,
today. It was
great.
touchy.
So Arlene, I want to
Hi.
thank you for coming on and for coping with the stress that you also experience, right? But anyway, you were introduced to us by our dear friend Hilsa Black.
Correct.
And Hilsa, she knows how important. I mean, she runs a WhatsApp page that's called Wealth and Wellness.
Mm-hmm.
And we know how important it is that we not only hear from doctors,
Correct.
okay? The stories, when we can talk to people who actually experience
Yeah.
some of the issues that we talk about, it just helps, because so many people go through things, and the big thing is they don't talk.
Mhm.
And if
That's
they
correct.
realize, if they talk and they get help and share experiences, it does get better.
Living experience.
Correct.
Right.
Living
So
experience.
Arlene, you are a mother, a single mother.
Yes.
You're an educator.
Yes.
And I know recently you published your own book. That's exciting. We're going to hear a little bit more about that later.
Okay.
And you have agreed, and I'm going to thank you for being willing to candidly share your experience, not just with kidney failure, but with what you're doing on a personal level. I know you're working, you have to keep working with the doctors, etc. But there is a level of control that we have to take responsibility for our own health as well. All
Oh,
right.
clearly.
So I know you've talked to us briefly about some of the supplements that you use, and you will be discussing 2 or 3 of them today.
Correct.
And of course, the diet, because one of the big things about kidney failure is the diet.
Correct.
So without further ado, could you tell us, how is it? How were you? Is there anything else I missed that you want to share with us about your bio, etc.? Anything exciting about your life just before we get into the nitty-gritty?
I think you really touched on it. The most valuable thing I could really say is being a single mom and just having that awareness of who you are in the, just understanding who you are and just recognizing where you are, recognizing and understanding that there is purpose to everything. In particular, if you are a parent, never mind a single parent, we can't be consumed with what is going on around us. We need to stay steadfast and just acknowledge who we are so we can just be the best parent to our children so they come out to be the best versions of themselves and leaving a legacy behind, because that is what we're called to do. And based on this journey that I am on, that's the acknowledgement and the conclusion that I have come into that acknowledgement.
How many kids do you have?
Just my one baby, who's 25 right now.
Boy or
Boy.
male or female? Oh, he.
Yeah, his name is Noah.
Noah.
And yes,
no Bible name, right?
exactly. And his name just reflects who he is right now.
Okay, wonderful. And of course, we talk about the kids and our legacy, but first, we have to take care of ourselves.
Take care of yourself.
Right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, because if we're not in the right place, then neither are the kids. And
Correct.
sometimes, like we're in a relationship, but sometimes it's like as single moms, I always take my hat off to women
Mm-hmm.
or men. There are single dads. We
Yes,
forget about
yes.
that, but to people who are doing it alone. So, how did you first learn about this silent killer? Because that's one of the things
Oh,
people don't know, that
oh,
they say 1 in 7 people walk around with kidney disease and they have no idea that they have it.
oh, Janet, you are so right on target. And again, it actually comes into play where, this culture is so filled with stressors,
Mhm.
especially those of us that work a 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, and we live for the weekends. Remember what they say. The stats say that heart attacks occur most on Monday mornings.
Mhm.
Okay,
That
yeah.
stress
Mhm.
of getting up to go to work.
That's
That's
correct.
Yeah.
So on my journey, I have come to acknowledge that, yes, Janet, you are absolutely right. Stress is the silent killer. And when we get so caught up with our everyday lives, doing the same thing over and over again, what do they say the definition of that is?
Insanity.
Insanity, which that leaves us wide open for damaging our own selves. When we don't take accountability, that is a must. Knowing thyself and being true to thyself, and also understanding that gratitude plays a huge role on what the next level for us will be.
Right.
Gratitude means that you are gifted and you are literally guided by the Almighty, by the Creator. And once we get into that acknowledgement, and I keep using that word because that word is so key to me, that word is the key to life. Because once you have knowledge, you have wisdom, and you apply that wisdom to gain understanding and to navigate through this world, especially this culture,
Yeah.
this North American culture.
Right.
And
So to go directly into
Mhm.
the symptoms, did you have any symptoms?
Oh, absolutely. You know, Initially you spoke about stress.
Mm-hmm.
Stress, you're absolutely right. Stress is the silent killer if you do not pay attention. I worked in the school board, the Catholic school board, and that is where the initiation of this began because I was green when I went in the system. So I thought I could turn the system upside down and make it work for our kids.
Okay.
Boy, was I wrong about that. I took that on. That became the stressor for me. And also, I had a rental property. And those two combined,
Yes.
yes,
Yeah.
was an absolute disaster because the tenant, mental health is really a big issue
It is.
that we don't really touch on a
Mhm.
tenth of it because I really believe stressors and dealing with others that have that's why I say acknowledgement of self and being true is the key. So
Okay.
with all those stressors,
Mhm.
I took that on because I couldn't get where I wanted to and get the resource in. So it became difficult for me. I took it on. I wasn't eating and I wasn't sleeping properly. The symptoms I started to have was my joints
Mhm.
Mhm.
were like tightening and just hurting. Then I became very intolerant to the cold. I remember coming off of reserve duty, others would take their jackets off or their coats right away. I couldn't because I was still freezing, literally. And that is where my mom even became concerned because she would say to me, Arlene, what have you eaten all day? You took lunch to work and your lunch has come back with you. Tell me what you ate. And I wasn't eating.
So can I ask you a question, Arlene? You have
Sure.
mentioned some of the although they say there are no symptoms, but there are symptoms.
Oh,
The
clearly.
tiredness,
Yes.
as mentioned, and the pain and the stiffness in your joints,
And muscle
as
cramps
the
and stuff like
muscle
that.
Yes.
cramps, etc. But did you have any other, because one of the biggest causes of CKD is either diabetes or high blood pressure
You on target.
overweight. Those are the three things. The two are the ones you hear about mostly. Did you have any of those prior to finding out that you're in, in one of the stages of kidney disease?
Actually, I will be honest with you. I had gone when I couldn't tolerate the pain anymore and I was constantly cold. That's an indication now I know is that your kidney meridian is low. That's an implication that something is off. But none of the doctors, you spoke about being aware and knowing yourself. That is so true. You have to be able to know yourself. And I keep repeating that in order to advocate, because when I was going through test after test, they didn't tell me what was wrong right away.
Really?
It was after when I started, another symptom I had was it was very challenging for me to go up 5 steps without breathing heavy.
Okay.
So my breathing was very much low. And that was due to the fact that my hemoglobin was
Right.
very low.
Exactly. And that's one of the key symptoms.
Correct.
When they do the blood test, right?
Absolutely.
It's diagnosed by a simple blood test.
That's right. Actually, I'm going to touch on that. Sometimes, not always, because sometimes they don't even understand clearly. And especially since COVID or pre-COVID, there isn't that amount of physician on hand to see you right away. So you've got to wait.
That is definitely one of the tragedies.
Correct.
The side effects of
the
COVID, right?
yeah,
With the
of COVID,
doctors
right.
not being
Not enough doctors to,
right, because
to look after the
everything was
patients.
COVID, and even the cancer rate, everything else was put second to COVID. But now we're hopefully
getting
past
back
that
to that
curve
stage.
and getting back.
Hopefully.
Because there are
Yes.
really 5 stages to kidney disease, right?
Correct.
And what stage did you, I know there's, the first one is beginning. There are these, what is the levels called? The globe, I can never remember the name, but I'll think of it in a minute. But the 5 stages, and with number 5 being the worst. when
Exactly.
one is probably less than 10 on that stage,
Exactly.
right? So what stage were you in when you were first diagnosed?
I would say I was at the 3rd stage. And if they had caught it originally,
Okay.
I don't think I would have ended up in the 5th stage.
Okay.
Because I'm going to tell you a bit of my journey, medical history wise.
Just
If-
before you start, I'm going to say the name. It's the glomerular filtration rate, the GFR.
The GFR, exactly.
Oh, that's what people need to pay attention to. Sorry.
Pay attention to, exactly.
Mhm.
Like I said, my history or my journey, to be honest, in the beginning was very challenging for me. I put a lot of blame on myself for not taking care of myself, paying attention to myself.
Okay.
And with that being said, I was very skeptical of the medical industry as well.
Okay.
Yes. So in that aspect, I actually did do a lot of damage because I wasn't trusting fully. But however, the medical system is there to a certain degree in emergencies. Is there still work to be done in that industry? Oh, clearly, because, North America, in the medical industry, they've only had the same practice over and over again for 60 years approximately. Whereas ancient Chinese medicine has been for centuries, where without using synthetic drugs, they were able to heal with herbs. And I think that's a situation where partially the medical system needs to go back to, because other than that, if they're not familiar with you and your body, because everything is unique. And this is how I used to try to teach my kids, individualized learning, because everyone is different. So the initiation is to educate the medical system in incorporating these things instead of everything becoming synthetic. The reason I say this, Janet, is because when they did finally realize what was going on, I was actually in almost the last stages, stage 4.
Okay.
And they put me on a high dosage of prednisone.
Oh.
Prednisone did not agree with me, period. My hair was very long. How my hair was. This is just an example. It was very long and full. And when I was put on the prednisone amount, which was a huge amount, okay, remember, I'm in the 4th stages. Now they're ramping up the medication. I lost my hair. I had to chop off my hair in a boy cut from shoulder length to boy cut, and then you would see patches on my scalp. As for me, that was very traumatizing.
Yep.
And so that is another reason why I became skeptical of the system. Why? Because I'm trying to advocate for myself. I'm trying to let them know this is not feeling right. I could go on and on.
So, at stage 4, is there a beginning conversation about dialysis?
Well, yes. And the reason why, even when I'm telling you, I started to become very, very bloated. That's another symptom.
Yes. And you know why that happens, right?
Mhm.
Because the water retention, the kidney is not able to filter and to get rid of it. So
Right.
as a matter of fact, whenever we get, we're not the doctors, but we listen.
Yeah.
We do the research and we
Yes.
listen to a lot of doctors. And one of the doctors we listened to was Dr. Strauss. He's with Sean Hashmi. And what he said is that is the stage when it's imperative that the doctors, that is a stage that they can catch it. Because when it's enlarged, it means it has not gone to the last stage where it's shrunk. And that's the final stage where you're down to less than 15% in terms of the scale.
So at that stage, it's still around the 15 to 29%.
Yeah,
absolutely, Fred.
Yeah.
Yes,
absolutely.
Before you continue, I just want to say that when you're on dialysis, I love the statistics. They say 1 in 5 people die every year who are already on dialysis. And that if you're on dialysis for more than 5 years, it increases the chance of your demise.
Early demise.
Right? And one of the worst things, as he pointed out, he says, this disease does not affect everybody in the same way.
No, it does not.
Black person, again, we've had this before, prostate cancer, kidney disease. If you're a Black person,
ravishes
you're
the body
4
much
times more likely to get CKD than a Caucasian.
Yep.
The other ethnicities like the the Aboriginal Indians, right? The Native Indians, as well as Hispanics and Asians, they're more likely than Caucasians, but not as bad. We're in the worst group, right?
Correct.
But then So you were able to use some of the natural medicine along with the doctor medicine. What did you do?
Now, just before you answer
Yeah.
that question, let me just get to a few emails that came in.
Oh, they're coming in
Yeah, the
already,
emails
right?
are coming
Yes.
in.
We love these emails.
This one is from Tammy, and Tammy says CHD, but she meant CKD. CKD is a very serious matter. Great topic. Thank you for that. Thanks very much, Tammy. Here's another one from Hans. Hans says that kidney failure is so devastating. Diet is very important. Little or no salt.
Oh my goodness,
Right,
he's hit
and
the
that's-
nail on the head. We'll have to talk
we're
about
gonna
the
talk
salt
about that. Yeah.
because that's they said if you cut your salt,
Yeah.
you can
Yeah.
cure yourself by just
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Our people is known for using a lot of
salt.
right?
And-
So have to be very careful.
Yes.
Have to be.
Here's another one from Monica. Thanks for the show today. Very, very informative. Thank you, Monica. And there's another one from Ron. Hello to Liquid Green. I love your topic. So much help for us. Thank you for the advice and knowledge.
Okay, so let's go back. Thanks for all the emails. We love getting the emails.
Oh, appreciate that as
Yeah.
well.
So now it's your time anyway. So
Thank you.
continue with what you were telling.
So, Janet, as you were saying, so I can touch on it and not divert,
Yes.
you were saying that in particular, people of our culture is most at risk.
Yeah.
And I want to just give you a little insight as to why. People of our culture, and I'm going to just give you a little insight one more time. We are natural inhibitors, natural creatures of a natural environment prior to coming to North America, where in the winter months, it's very barren and very cold. So this is an indicator why we are most at risk, because we are supposed to be in the natural sun, hence the melanin that we have, right? We are supposed to be eating the type of foods that our DNA requires us to have in order to sustain our bodies. But whenever we transition to North America, we lose that on many different levels. We lose that in the foods, because even the foods that we're eating now that we say we get from the tropics,
You talk about that all
it's
the
not
time,
the same.
right? Yeah.
it is not the same.
Value, the caloric
The
value,
nutritional
is not
value
there.
is gone because
Completely
of
depleted. Who knows how long it's been in the air before it gets to the warehouse, before it gets to the stores. So we have a family friend. I'm going to give you a little insight as well. She's a farmer. And I heard something, for example, and those of us that feed our kids or grandkids McDonald's, I pray that that will stop.
Yes.
The reason I say this is I heard this thing and I couldn't believe it. So I called the family friend who was a farmer. I said, listen, I heard that McDonald's, whenever they spray their potatoes, the farmers can't go outside for 5 days. Is that true? She says, yes, absolutely. Because of the chemicals that they're using, because of the
Right.
Yeah.
And you know,
pesticides and even government sanctions, where even the farmers don't or can't get the proper type of chemicals or the proper type of organic situations to spray the vegetables and the fruits. So she said, yes, that is true. She goes, and what we call organic, Arlene, the farmers only spray it for 2 times, and they still can't go outside for 5 days. So you really need to know where you're getting your foods from.
Okay.
And that's a very good
and diets is one of the most important things.
Yeah, but I just want to get back to what she was saying in terms of the chemicals. It's not just with McDonald's produce, it's farmers, large commercial farmers in general.
Correct.
And that's something we will talk about at another show, because the toxic chemicals that are being used in commercial farms is one of the biggest culprit that is damaging the food supply that we have.
Exactly.
So the very basic thing is, why are our kidneys so important? I'm going to go back to the beginning, right? What is their function? Do you realize that when you're a baby, this guy was really funny, one of the doctors I was listening to, and he said, the baby is born with everything. It's like they have over 1 million kidney cells at birth. So then he went on to say, from birth, it's a decreasing scale. So we're all in some form of kidney attrition, right? In terms of optimal, the way.
Basically, what he's saying is that from the day you're born, you're dying.
You're depleted. Exactly.
Yeah, for sure. And I could see that. I can see that. Especially, I want to emphasize the culture that we're in.
Yeah.
Because you notice the so-called third world countries that depend on their natural resources, and even when they are made to walk how many distance to get their water or whatever fruits to the market, notice how they live longer. So we have to question that.
They're on a constant exercise. You know, we may laugh at them, we may look down upon them because they have to that distance to get water, as you said, or food, or even to go to school. But they're active.
That's right.
So we mentioned that you're doing some self-treating with some supplements that you have found that work really well. And you wanna, I mean, we know that we know that with healthy kidneys, right? The whole idea is to prevent the buildup of waste and extra fluid, as we said, right? And it balances the salts and the minerals in your body. We're talking about calcium, phosphorus, a big one, sodium, salt, and potassium. Those are the key ones, right?
Absolutely.
And they also have hormones that control blood pressure. The kidneys make red blood cells. Keep our bones strong.
Wow.
So tell us about the supplements that you use, and how is it that they contribute to helping to keep the kidneys working optimally?
Well, I just want to touch on what you said initially in regards to diet. And there's a correlation. Yes, your diet is absolutely very important. Number one. And yes, we have to, those that have this condition have to be very careful what they put in their body. So they must be aware of the quality of foods that they're getting. And you can't consume yourself price-wise, because it's either price or your life. So to get the best foods, you must research where you're able to do that. In regards to what you were saying with the salt, yes, you must lower your salt intake, if not none. To be honest, I'm kind of working on none.
The food doesn't taste good.
Exactly, right?
Salt that you add is not just the salt from the shaker where people will say, "Oh, I've stopped eating salt," and they stop.
No,
it's the salt.
It's the food.
It's the foods and the seasonings. And even if you are accustomed to eating out on the road, you must take caution as to where you're eating when you're eating on the road.
Salted chips, the salted, food that tastes good.
Exactly. And also, with that being said, not only that, the potassium that you referred to, the phosphorus, your blood pressure, because that's another indication that if your blood pressure is too high and you don't, take note of that, you are putting your kidneys at risk.
Yeah, it works both ways.
Yes, it works both ways, definitely.
If your kidneys at risk, you're going to get high blood pressure.
Absolutely,
and
yes.
High blood pressure, it can contribute
to your kidneys.
Right.
Kidney failure.
And malnutrition, as you're talking about the diet, malnutrition, it's I think one of the symptoms is that you tend, as you mentioned it, that you brought home your lunch, you didn't want to eat because you don't feel hungry.
Exactly.
And the food can taste different, or you may just totally lose interest in food. And that can cause so much, with the infections and the other stresses on your body, it can make you, it actually doesn't allow your body to use the food in the way that it should.
Right.
No, because another thing.
What's one of the supplements that you want to talk about, that you want to share with our audience?
There's, like you were saying, when it comes to, I just want to touch on the lack of nutrients in your body when you don't have an appetite. That's something too that you have to take note of, because that's another thing that brought on the onset of this, because I didn't have any appetite. So clearly my body was talking to me and I wasn't listening. So thank God for Great Green World. That is the name of the company. It's out of high research from China, in the Alps of China. And the way they create these supplements is very organic. It doesn't have room for any type of toxicity to enter in. They're easy to take. They're actually capsules or the teas. And again, they come straight out of the mountains of China. Okay. And for me, I will tell you this, Janet and Fred, when I heard, or the onset of this condition began, let me tell you, like I stated before, I didn't trust the medical system for many reasons, because when I first entered it, due to the onset of this, they weren't listening to me. They weren't listening to my concerns. And I felt they put me more in danger. So what did I do? I went out and I sought herbal medications, many different types of herbalists. But even with that being said, you must be careful with that as well, because I spent, I'm telling you, thousands of dollars trying to get help. And the last one I went to put me in a very bad situation. Wow. Because fear was instilled in me. You need to take the time to educate yourself so you can thoroughly advocate for yourself. Because especially if you are a parent, you are obligated to your children to do that.
Live as long as you can.
To live as long as you can.
Though we all have to die, yes.
Exactly. And be around, because with that being said, if they see you struggling like that, I will tell you that affects them.
Yeah.
Because their home, their environment is no longer a safe place.
I'm going to bring you back to talking about the supplement, because I'm going to tell you on this show, the time goes super fast.
Okay.
So we're going to finish, and then we're going to say, oh my goodness, we didn't talk about this and we didn't talk about that.
But
so you mentioned to me about sorry, go ahead.
Just before you do that, let me remind our listeners, for those of you who are joining us for the very first time or have joined us late, you're listening to the Liquid Green Health Show here on Reality Radio 101. Our guest today is Arlene Wallace, and we are discussing her journey with CKD, chronic kidney failure.
Okay. I remember you told us about the Pelosi antler.
Oh, okay.
So
the Pelosi antler.
Yeah.
Like, I'm really grateful to Great Green World and the leader that I work with, Clyde Harris, because he studied kinesiology, and that man knows exactly how every cell connects and what is needed with the supplements. I am with him in this company. So he's put me on a protocol. The protocol that he's put me on is liquid calcium. There's quite a number, because I want to give a testimony as well. Cordyceps, the Pelosi antler, spirulina, which is very important.
Oh yes, spirulina is one of it's one of the biggest supplements known worldwide. Yeah.
But you have to be careful where you get it from.
Yes.
Source.
Very, very important.
Source, right? and also the sea oil, which even in the States, they don't have that. So he put me on this protocol morning, noon, and night. And I really appreciate this man for his knowledge, for his wisdom. His name is Clyde Harris, and how everything works together. Because when I stick to the and he will call me and make sure I'm sticking to it. And for every day, sometimes bright as day, he will call me. So it's so good to have that accountability as well. Because when people look at me now, they can't even, when I tell them, they're like, what?
So are you not on dialysis, or are you?
I'm weaning myself off because, to be honest, since I stuck to the protocol that Clyde Harris put me on, they want to work me up quicker for a kidney transplant.
Okay.
But exactly, he's a little bit perturbed. You know why? Because they're like, this is what this is about. When my blood work came back, because I had to do an in-depth blood work, the doctor came to me and she looked at me. She goes, I'm confused. I don't understand. Because based on your blood work, it shows that your right and left kidneys are functioning. The other day, she called me a week ago, Saturday morning, 10 to 12. I looked at the time. Arlene, your blood work is really good, near next to perfect. Your phosphorus levels, like you mentioned earlier, Janet, she's like, they're right on point. So my blood work looks even better than the average person right now that doesn't know that they have issues.
Okay.
And I had spent thousands of dollars prior to meeting up Clyde Harris and Green World.
So are you not also medically working with a team? From everything I've read, once you have this, it's not just your doctor, is it? Isn't it like a team of
Specialists,
yeah. Or, care professionals that work with you? And do you get set up at home with dialysis, or do you have to go to the hospital?
No, I'm pretty much independent because, like I said, I do have a team, but I mostly focus on my nephrologist, because when she sees my work, my blood work, she's happy and we have a conversation. Okay. So what I do is I take that blood work and I bring it back to Clyde Harris at Green World.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I was looking at the pillows, the antler. And
yes.
You mentioned that this company is in China or the hills. There are certain places that you get where this is grown. Mm-hmm. You have to get this product, and it has to come from it's the antlers, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's used for people with osteoporosis.
And that comes from the Tibet region, right?
Yes.
Correct. Yes.
They're somewhere in there.
Okay. Yes.
So, because that's one of the main things that the kidney does, is to keep your bones strong.
Correct.
And without the strong bones, then that's one of the things he's put you on.
Yes.
You also mentioned what else?
The liquid calcium, because every one of us needs liquid calcium to balance for vitamin D, magnesium. Yes. And also the seal oil, which I'll tell you something, because they never caught this condition early enough. And I was having, and they knew through x-rays, issues with two of my heart valves, leaky heart valves. They never did anything. They just maintained it. And this is why I had an issue initially until it got progressively worse. So last year we were debating heart surgery, because here I am thinking it would be a game changer for me, right? Based on what one of the doctors said to me. So Clyde Harris put me on the pillows, and he put me on the seal oil and the cordyceps. The cordyceps are very important because month after month now, since he put me on it, I've maintained my creatinine level is actually going down and the toxicity is coming out.
Wonderful.
Now, before you continue, could you explain to our audience what is cordyceps?
Cordyceps.
Just briefly, yeah.
Cordyceps is a reishi mushroom from the Alps, right? And
Okay.
it's one of the most powerful things to help to restore your body. And again, this is the highest form because, like I said, I spent thousands of dollars before trying to get healthy, herbal wise. But for the fraction of the cost, this is what is restoring me, these supplements. Because, I was told before out of fear, if you go on dialysis, your life will never be the same. But you can't instill fear because you put people in danger that way. You've got to educate.
Fear
Because
builds
that's
stress.
right.
Wow.
Come on, exactly.
And that
You know-
increases the inflammation in the body.
Correct,
Making it
correct.
sicker.
And then
And inflammation is the
Careful, they-
onset.
Yeah.
and they tend not to want to come in to get checked out.
Exactly.
Your dialysis, you want to just postpone even
Fear,
having that
yeah.
meeting.
And that is what put me in danger, Janet,
Now,
initially.
something I want to say to you is you look amazing.
She does.
Thank you.
And that's one of the things that's so misleading because
Yes.
on the inside, there's all this going on, but on the outside, you look fantastic.
Thank you. Yes.
And that's why so many people have no idea.
Yeah.
that
That's
they
why-
Exactly.
That's
suffering
why
from
this
anything.
that's why this called the silent killer.
That's right. That's right.
But these medicinal mushrooms, I think one of the things I was looking at was that they have to be grown. Like I heard at one point they were sold and it was more expensive than gold.
Absolutely.
It was more expensive. Now at Green World, I think you can get a bottle for much less than that, right?
That's what I'm saying.
And yeah, and it's like 3,000 to 5,200 meters where they
Wow.
have to collect these mushrooms.
You mean that's how
So
high?
Absolutely.
Oh,
Absolutely.
high it grows?
Absolutely.
Wow.
Okay.
That's
Do-
what I'm saying. I spent so much
Mhm.
trying before on other,
Yeah,
when
yeah.
this is the fraction of the cost and it's actually regenerating my body
Mhm.
because it's proven in the blood work. What doctor calls you at 10 to 12 on a Saturday morning,
Mhm.
right? Okay.
I want
Okay.
to know that person. Let me just read a few more emails that came in. This is from Lisa, and she said, and with all of those chemicals in our crops, thank God for liquid green health products to clean those fruits and veggies.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you. Now,
we need to be doing that more often,
Yeah.
right? Because we
Yeah.
also have a product that farmers should be using that will help
Exactly.
the crops to grow without the chemicals.
without the chemicals.
We had a show on that once. right?
Here's one from Charlie, another A1 show.
And he has that in big, bold,
With a
like,
big-
you know, that's wonderful.
And here's one from Amy. Love the advice, Coxes. Thank you. Thank you very much, Amy.
Okay.
Thanks for that. Okay, want to get back.
Yes. So, Arlene,
Yes.
so we talked about the pillows
Pelosi.
and the mushrooms. There's one that has algae. What's the name of that one? The blue-green algae.
That would be the spirulina.
Spirulina, right.
Okay.
Yeah.
How does that help with kidney disease? What does Clyde say? Or what
Okay,
does
so Clyde says this. So he hasn't been to a doctor in 27 years. He refuses.
Wow.
Okay.
But that's
Exactly.
not good advice for our people.
No, no.
For our
The only
listeners.
reason I say that is because he's well versed and knows what he's doing and he studied the
Yes,
human
right.
body.
I think
Right.
you need to work along with, like you
Exactly.
go to the test, do the blood work, then you know
Exactly.
how to self-manage.
Oh, 100. Absolutely.
Great.
That's the
Mhm.
wisest thing to do. And that's what I would advise.
Yes.
And like I was saying, with that, the algae in the spirulina, we have one of the best spirulina. You could actually research that because, like I said, it comes out of high scientific research and where it is cultivated, because you've got to be careful where you get your spirulina, right?
Mhm.
And especially those that buy it in the loose leaves package type thing, that's not really the safest way to go. So you must know where you're getting it. And spirulina alkalines the body. Now, in the medical field, the contradiction is I'm not really supposed to be on spirulina. But when Clyde assessed me and he knew what was missing, remember, I had no nutrients in my body.
Right.
I wasn't even retaining. because that's another story for another day with the type of treatment they had. So Clyde said, no, you've got to come off this first type of treatment. I had to advocate for that. Then he put me on the supplements and he told me what the spirulina would do. He started me off with one. And that is when you started to see improvements in my blood work. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Because I think they say with spirulina, it has a protein, it has vitamin B1, which is thiamine, it has riboflavin, niacin, copper, iron. And you're right, you can take 1 to 3 grams. You can have doses up to 10 grams per day if it's effectively, I figure, in circumstances like this. Right?
Exactly. Because you have to remember the healthcare system is not really a healthcare system. It's there to maintain you or there for emergencies.
I think it's more for emergency than maintenance.
Correct.
Even
Exactly.
Even with the maintenance, they're not going to tell you what you have been told by the person you're talking about.
Clyde Harris, yes.
They don't believe in that.
Exactly. Because they're so conditioned to North American medicines, synthetics, where actually, if I can just give a little insight, it's quite hypocritical sometimes because the very herbs that they're using to create the medications, it's the natural herbs, but they kill it with chemicals.
It's someone, I mean, we're not bashing doctors here.
We're not.
Or anything,
No.
but we're just, pointing out that, as you said earlier, you have to be the captain of your own ship.
100.
Right. You must understand the signals and the signs that the body is exhibiting to you. And when you recognize it, you need to take action.
Take action. That's what I advocate for. Know thyself, be true to thyself.
Yes.
And it says, gram for gram, I'm quoting, spirulina may be the single most nutritious food on the planet.
Wow.
That's right.
But again,
That's right.
The source. There's a lot
The
of it.
source.
Now,
but you got to be careful.
If people like what they've, if I keep saying people, if our listening audience, yes, there are people, if they like what they're hearing, how do we connect with you? Our show would have been finished right now, but due to the glitch, thank you, Gary. He's given us another probably 8 to 10 minutes. So we're gonna try and get to your book as well. But what was I saying?
How do they get there?
How do they get it? Yes. Well, I could give out my cell phone number, as well as Great Green World has a website. Okay, so it's www. One second, let me just get my card.
Give us the number in the meantime.
That's what she's getting. I think we have it as well.
Yeah, while she's doing that, I think we have a few more emails. Let me just touch on it.
Okay.
No, I've read all of those already, right? But for those, for our listeners, once again, you're listening to the Liquid Green Health Show here on Reality Radio 101. Our guest is Arlene Wallace, and we are discussing her journey on a situation where she was diagnosed with CKD and how she has dealt with it so far. Wonderful story. And her number is 416.
Do you want your cell, Arlene?
Yes, please.
Our office, the cell, 416-738-6003.
Correct.
That's Arlene's direct number. And if you'd like to go to the website, is Green World.
It is Green World. Or is it Great Green World or Green World?
No, it's Green World.
greenworldna.com.
Yes, that's what it is. Yes.
greenworldna.com.
But going to the website, I think they would have to put in your number. Isn't there, once they go to the site, don't they have, you have a code or something?
I do.
This is a network.
So I'll make it easier for you. I'll make it easier. You can email Arlene at Arlene dot, that is spelled ARLENE .Wallace.01 at gmail.com.
And Wallace,
right? It's ARLENE .Wallace with 2 L's.
Yes.
01 at gmail.com. That is a direct link to Arlene Wallace, and you get
perfect
that you'd like to have on that show.
And talking about the food, where again, as I said, the time is gone so quickly. But are you vegan? Are you vegetarian? Do you eat meat? What's that for you now?
Oh, for me, to be honest, I have to get better at my diet. I mostly just eat fish and veggies. I cut out white rice.
Okay.
I cut out the only types of bread I really eat now are like the naturally sprouted one, like 3 sprouted. But
Okay.
I no longer eat the regular generic bread.
No more dough bread for you.
I know, right? Because I need to wean myself off of that too.
There's so much like smoothies. Do you do a lot of smoothies? Because
Yes, I'm starting to do. Oh, especially with Green World, we have this thing called Super Nutrition with this packed with the nutrition. And I'm telling you, since I've been on this, my body now is absorbing nutrients, and you can clearly see the difference, right?
Yes. Okay. Well, oh my goodness, we're probably going to have to, we say this to so many of our guests, we'll probably have to do a repeat because there's just so much to cover.
Time.
The worst diet that everybody knows is the SAD diet, the standard American diet.
Exactly.
You should be looking more at the Mediterranean type diet.
Yes.
And as they say, it's just a matter of, to me, it's all about balance.
It's
about eating not too much, mostly plants.
Yes,
Like
mostly plants. And Janet, before 8 o'clock, actually should be before 7 in the evening.
Not eat.
I'm not that disciplined, but I would listen.
And then to do the fasting, right?
Exactly. I do that.
And that's good. But this has been wonderful.
Yes.
We want to, in the interest of time, we're over the limit, but we still have a couple of minutes.
Yes.
But I just want to say thanks
Thank you
to
so much.
Arlene. The information that you have divulged today is an eye-opener. I never realized how important, I know that the kidney is a very important organ, but when it's not working well, the side effects, it can be very devastating.
But we cannot have a discussion about kidneys without water.
Absolutely.
Talking about
even
water.
Though they say, oh my gosh, the medical industry says no water, you have to drink water because our body requires that hydration.
And we don't do 8 glasses because there's a lot of water in the food we eat.
Yeah, I never believe in that.
Thank you.
I never believe in that eight glass thing. I drink water when I'm thirsty. And
what's coming up next week?
Right. So thank you once again, Arlene. It has been a pleasure, and we will stay in touch. I need to talk to you after the show because it's very interesting things.
And we're going to put your details up later when we do put this on to.
And I just want to say one more thing. And this is the reason why I felt led to write the book on parenting.
Oh, my goodness.
Because it encompasses everything: self-awareness, health and wealth, leaving a legacy, and community.
What's the title of the book?
What's the title of that book, quickly?
Under the Umbrella of Parenting, Arlene Wallace.
Under the Umbrella of Parenting by Arlene Wallace.
Not available just yet, but we'll let our viewers
audience.
And listeners know.
Under the Umbrella of Parenting by Arlene Wallace. Well, folks, that's it for our show. We've had a wonderful discussion today.
Yeah.
And if you want to get more on this, you can check the platform Spotify, Facebook, or on YouTube. You'll have a recording on that. Next week, who do we have coming up next week? We're going to be talking about real estate and how it affects your health, right?
Kira, our daughter, is a real estate agent, and right now, stress. Okay, so we're going to tie that in because not having a place to live, homelessness, big issues. It was also her birthday. Mine was last Sunday. Hers was on Friday the 16th. And her birthday party is going to be, she's going to have a yoga teacher and a personal trainer. Right, and they're coming up for the birthday party.
So make sure you tune in. Make sure you tune in Sunday, folks. And this is rush period here, rush hour. I just want to end the show by saying this. We end today's broadcast with time is forever.
Amen.
Life is short. So take your health seriously. Make it priority
correct.
number one. So until next Sunday, same time, same place. This is Janet and Fred of the Liquid Green Health Show on Reality Radio 101 saying, let's stay healthy. See you later.
Thank you, Arlene.
Thank you, Janet. Thank you, Fred. We'll talk.
Thank you for listening to the Liquid Green Health Show with your hosts, Fred and Janet Cox, right here on Reality Radio 101.